It's so much sanitation these days, boys. They can't, and to a degree it's required, but back in those days, you hear some of the stuff. Yeah, like the cricketers, like David Boone drinking, I think it was 54 cans of beer from Australia to England on the way to an Ashes. That's unheard of. I couldn't keep the beer if I tried.
Oh.
I mean, so there are some good aspects of days gone by, but obviously, sometimes you draw a line in the sand, and the likes of Todd Carney and doing what he did and all that sort of rubbish tends to lead things in a different path these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, it's going to be one hell of a game. Looking forward to tonight's game, but should be even a bigger game. Obviously, the grand final next weekend, bro? And we've all got to be looking forward to that, eh?
Yeah, looking forward to the grand final. I was actually going to go down to Sydney if the Storm got in, but I've got to go to Wellington this weekend. Long story short, we're setting up a trust for my grandmother or for my grandparents' land interests, and I've got to be on that trust, so I've got to sign the documents in person. So I'll be watching the grand final from somewhere in windy, cold Wellington. Hopefully, I might catch up with a cousin of mine while the Storm.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Reno, what else has been happening around the sporting world there, bro?
You wasn't saying on the Rugby League, Kaupapa, bro. I hope the Warrior girls have a win today over the much-favoured Broncos girls. Will be tough, and if they win that, they'll book themselves in the grand final next Sunday, bro. So let's hope they fell apart at home last Sunday against the Dragon girls and just weren't even in the play there. But, let's hope they can do it, and it will be tough, bro, up against the Bronx girls, but see what happens.
Absolutely. Anything else happening, bro?
No, that's it. Pretty well quiet, pretty well dominated in our country by the Rugby World Cup. A massive hiding last night in the Mitre 10 Cup. The Marcos, good job.
Yes.
They went to the Auckland team. Yeah, I love that game. But, every time I see Auckland get in bed and go, yeah. But, all good, mate. A lot of rugby, pretty well predominantly rugby in the build-up to the NRL Grand Finals. A lot of talk around the netball getting ready for the Constellation Cup. Noel's back with his Silver Ferns. But, it's all predominantly rugby, mate.
Okay, true enough. What have you got for us?
Sorry, I got one thing. I just mentioned this young kid. Look out for this young kid from West Auckland. He's West Indian background as well. Jerome Mandela Papaloni, a name to think about when it comes to boxing. So just remember that name, Papaloni.
Okay. What have you got for us there, JT?
Yeah, just harping back to Rugby League. The Masters of Rugby League and over 35 tournament starts here today on the Gold Coast. Over 100 teams from across New Zealand, Australia, the Pacific. And I think there's probably 4 or 5 teams that have come down from the UK.
Oh.
So, big run around for the old boys.
Wow.
I won't be running too hard, hopefully. A lot of 60 and 70-year-olds still playing and having a bit of a throw in. It's just an excuse to have a beer, I think, for these old boys.
Yeah.
And local league, the Intrust Super Cup Grand Final tomorrow. The Gold Coast side, Burleigh Bears, take on the Wynnum Manly Seagulls. Very proud club, Wynnum Manly. Wally Lewis and Greg Dowling and the likes of them. Gene Miles all play for Wynnum Manly. So it's a big grand final there tomorrow. And I did have one other, but I've forgotten because I'm a professional. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, for the other half of Australia that don't really care about rugby league, it's the big AFL grand final today. Richmond Tigers, a traditional Victorian club. The MCG are playing the Greater Western Sydney Giants, obviously from Sydney, so Victoria versus New South Wales team. For all those from the dead water parts of Australia that follow AFL, it's their big day today. They should get 100,000 at the MCG.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Awesome stuff. Well, just very quickly, now, over the next couple of weeks, of course, we've got Tuya 250. Up on Kaiti Hill, they've laid down what's called Te Maro. I can't really explain what it is. It's something that's beautifully designed. I guess that will be welcoming to the flotilla. Now, we've got a special flotilla that'll be coming in here into the district, into the bay on the 8th of October. And there are going to be these certain commemorations and celebrations taking part as part of Tuya 250. So just want to remind people, stay tuned to Turangi FM. We'll be giving you updates throughout the next couple of weeks. We've also got the Tawhiwhirangi Arts Festival coming up during the first 2 weeks of October, or 3 weeks of October, I think, as well. So certainly be listening on for all of that. Well, that is pretty much us here on our show, on Full Time. There's only one more final little thing that we usually do, and that is what we call Put the Boot In! My Put the Boot In is going out to, I don't know, to these people who are in particular complaining about these particular celebrations, about the boat, having this boat coming into the Tawhiwhirangi area, or not even that, maybe. But there's just a huge amount of people that obviously are in very much disagreement with having the replica Endeavour coming to New Zealand. And the only complaint I have is the fact that, it's part of New Zealand history. Having the Endeavour come in here as a replica, still part of New Zealand history. And that's something that you can't really deny. So to people complaining about the Endeavour coming into our shores, it's my Put the Boot In!
Yeah, my boot's going into all those naysayers who you see on social media all over the place who were running down that young Swedish girl, Greta Thunberg, I think. Look, at first when I saw her speech to the United Nations, supporting our planet and the future direction of it, I thought it was rather over-dramatic. And I thought, it was a bit of a try-hard speech. Then I sort of changed my tune and started thinking, well, her heart's in the right place. And if there's a lot of, future generations that think like her, maybe there is hope for our world. And secondly, English is their second language, Swedish being their first. So it's always different, or it comes out different the way you express your views when you're doing it in another tongue. So, to all those naysayers, they need to check their outside and make sure that, our world is better for the future. That's my put the boot in!
Yeah, might put the boot in. I wasn't going to do one, but I will now. Just our Irish publisher talking about the Haka. We covered it off in the show. So Haka is part of our game. It's part of our culture, and just got to get over it. And to anyone who wants to criticise it, and especially those who disrespect it when the boys are doing it, doesn't matter what code or sport or who individual it is, it's just what it is. But there you go, just the Irish publisher, mate, short and sweet.
Put the boot in!
Yeah, well, my last put the boot in is going out to the circumstances, whatever it were, or the people, or the person that caused our captain to think that he had to feel that he had to leave and retire. I think it's an absolute joke. If something's not broken, it doesn't need fixing. That's mine.
Put the boot in! Thanks there for that, JT. Oh, well, that is pretty much our put the boot. Tell you what, though, I agree with you, Ra, and I don't usually.
Because you're finishing up, Keithy, that's why you're starting to feel a bit sorry. But hey, look, I'm like you. I agree with you. You'll think so. Look, we had to save it for possibly the last show to sort of, be on even Stevens sort of thing. But look, people are entitled to whatever they want, their opinions, etc., etc. But I was going to quote the saying from the legendary Nelson Mandela. He spent all that time in jail. He said something about the past and the future, but I can't find it. But it was quite appropriate for the celebrations that are coming up to the effect of never forget your past. We can never forget our past. But something to do with looking forward to the future and our next generations, Otherwise, if you dwell too much in the past, you really don't move very far.
No, that's absolutely right. And I think we do need to reflect on it. And the Endeavour coming to our shores is part of our history, whether we like it or not. And obviously a lot of people don't like it, but we've still got to, kind of like lug it, that boat came to.
Never forget what happened to our people back, when they came on. We'll never forget that. That's etched in history. But, for our up-and-coming ones, it's always sort of good to look at something positive and, if possible, to turn a negative into a positive. Otherwise, you're dwelling around with an attitude for the rest of your life.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's just unbelievable how. And when you were talking about this girl, now I'll be honest. I mean, I do agree in part, for the most part, I agree with what she is saying. I'm not saying that I'm a big advocate of all these protests and that. Not that I'm against the protesting or anything, but it's just for me, to an extent, they're going a little bit further than maybe what is necessary. But having said that, I do agree with what she has to say, and the fact that there are absolute, how can you put it? I want to put it in a nice way. There are just some absolute idiots. Yes, some absolute idiots who are running that young girl down in what she was saying. Now, I'm not saying that I completely agree with her, but I will say there are some absolute idiots that were running.
People, they have their opinions, and fair enough, that's the world we live in. And when I first saw her, I thought, well, this girl would make a good actor. She's such a Hollywood, the way she was expressing herself. But in retrospect, when you sort of, have time to think about what's said, and you realise, your heart's in the right place. And being a second language speaker, if we try to say something in Japanese or German or whatever, we'd probably try and sort of push the envelope just to get the message over. So it did come across as rather, two in your face. But hey, your heart was in the right place, I suppose.
Absolutely. Now, just finally, want to remind people, go into our full-time Facebook page to go and check out our episodes. Also, you can check out, we're also on Stitcher, Spreaker, Anchor FM, Google Podcast, Castbox, YouTube, Tumblr. We're also on, iTunes. We're also just recently been added to Spotify. We're still working on getting on Something Tube for Reno.
Jeez, Kiwi, you'd think with all those, we've got our finger in all those pies, we'd be rolling in the millions of dollars through royalties.
Not yet. It's not rolling in.
Probably getting all of it.
So, sorry, it was Something Hub. Hey, Reno, you wanted us to get on to Something Hub.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. No. But I've got your login, so that works now.
Anyway, nothing left to say but a big thank you. In particular, going out to our guests. It's been just absolutely wonderful being able to work with these mighty men who have joined us here on Full-Time and given up their time. None less than a guy who has come in and out of New Zealand. He's coming back to New Zealand after being here, less than a week ago. So a big...
those royalties, I told you, that's where the money's gone.
Anyway, big thank you for joining us on Full-Time over about almost 2 years, I think it's been, JT?
Yeah, nearly a couple of years. Thanks to you, Captain Keithy. I must thank also my mate Ra Walker from many, many years ago. He was the one that introduced me to the hookup, and also to Reno for his insight into sports. So if this is my last contribution to Full-Time in its current format, certainly without Captain Keithy, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure and a joy. And it's sad that it's coming to an end. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it, and even though daylight savings is coming up, I was looking forward to getting up at 5:30 and stopping the Haka with you boys. So, all the best, Keithy, in your future endeavours, and Godspeed, brother.
Cheers, bro. Also, it's also been wonderful, as we always do, catching up with Rino Wilkinson, who's been with us for, quite some time. I tell you what, Full-Time wouldn't be Full-Time without you, bro.
Mate, it's all about you. The pleasure's been all mine. Look, I just ramble off whatever I want to talk about. Everyone knows my passion when it comes to sport. And the platform you provided and asked me to be part of, Keith, credit to you, my friend. As Sean Fitzpatrick has always said back in the rugby terminology. But Keith, just thank you, Tūranga FM, this opportunity to be part of the show. I've enjoyed it over the years gone by, and hopefully we've brought something that's got it out there in our passion and our wisdom to sport. Just want to wish you, mate, all the best. Everything going forward to you, my friend, and another old head moving out from the industry, eh?
Yeah,
I've seen a few of those gone by. Look, I'm 30 years in the industry, and I'm not that far following you, I would guess, my friend, but it's a changing industry. You've done what you've done with your mahi at Tūranga FM. We've caught out for you have had a few more ales than me. But we've celebrated a success with the station a few years back as number one throughout the motu. You can't take that away from yourself, Keith, and your team. As you always spoke about, it's not about an I, it's a team. And you're a team man, you're a captain, and you've brought so much to our show on a Saturday morning. So, Keith, acknowledgement to you, my friend.
Cheers, bro. It's been awesome.